By the way, guys, I'm going live, just so you know. All right, hi, everybody. I'm meteorologist David Glenn. It is a very busy night here. It's flash flooding sign going all across the Tennessee Valley right now. We're going to get you caught up on some TDOT SmartWay cameras and the live radar update. Right now, just after the 7 o'clock hour on this Tuesday evening, we just got back from our weather radio live event where, of course, we were programming weather alert radios for these very reasons when you get alerts like this being a flash flooding. But this is a very rapidly changing situation. We've gotten numerous alerts of stalled traffic on I-24, especially near the McBrien Road area. And I'm going to show you a few different cameras here. This one in particular is I-24 at Germantown Road. And you can see traffic backed up there and some of the flooding going on to the side there. But let me change the camera one more time and show you a slightly different view. This one was over near OLPH, and you can see that just a little bit better. You can see some of the water ponding near the construction area. So some of that's been crossing the road. And I know when I came down Bonnie Oaks, all well off the interstate, I was going over water that's probably 4 or 5 inches deep. You just pluming water off the side of the car there. So no stalled traffic there, but you can see on that camera there where the water is really piling up in that main construction zone and it's slowing down the traffic. This looks to be the eastbound. No, this looks to be, the westbound lanes of I-24. Let's take another look at a few other cams right down that area. This is near McBrien Road. I believe I just showed that one. Let's go back to it. No, this is Panning actually. All right, so you can see the cars that are stalled there on I-24. Look at that. You can it's water. You also see mud covering the roads there. But look right in between the median there. Like there are people out of their cars under the underpass there. Then look at all the water sloshing there and one car going by. And you see the water sloshing by. And this is the TDOT officials controlling this this view. You can see is it water up to the tailgate there. That gentleman there walking on the median guards there where the construction barricades have been. That's one of those concrete barricades. And pretty much they're stalled. So that is I-24 eastbound at the 184 mile marker. That is essentially just back from back westward. I would say more that's closer to Moore Road than McBrien Road. But that water, they're trapped. Looks like she was holding a small animal, a small dog there. And you can see other cars back behind there underwater. That car's underwater right there. And look at all the other cars trying to go through the water. Look, I mean, you have wave action there. That's some deep water there. All these areas are under a flash flood warning. I've got the radar noted at the bottom part of your screen there, and we have quite a bit of rain still occurring in this area. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit so you can see that in the thumbnail just below me. The heavy rain continues to fall in this area where we're looking on the interstate is right about here. So still a lot of rain still falling there. And of course, you got this excessive runoff. You got the construction zone area, which I'm sure doesn't help. All of this culminating. We know that Spring Creek area, East Ridge, very prone to flooding anyway. But that's a terrible situation here. There seems to be someone still in that car that's a little sideways there near the barricade. I'm going to leave it on that camera as I pan around. You can see traffic is going over this looks like the Moore Road overpass. People are using South Terrace. That's actually North Terrace to avoid the interstate. You can see some cars trying to make it through there. But, So traffic is no doubt backed up on the interstate in all directions there. I'll pop up the warnings here on the screen so you can see those also. Give me 1 second. I've got the radar pulled up and you see the heavy rain is still falling. And this shows you the outline of the flash flood warning. I'm going to read you the text of this because they extended the time in Bradley and Hamilton County. That's out till 10:45. I think it still includes a little bit of Bradley. No, it's just all of southeastern Hamilton County. So as of about 20 minutes ago, estimated between 1 and 3 inches of rain, some additional rain falling. Flash flooding is already occurring in numerous areas. This flash flood warning out till 10:45 Eastern time. Now, just south of there, flash flood warning out, which includes parts of Catoosa and Walker. So Chickamauga, Ringgold, the Battlefield, Fort Oglethorpe. That warning is out, I believe, till 11:45. Well, that's extended till 12:30. Again, that's a 2 to 3 inches approximate with additional 1 to 2. All right, let's look at how much estimated rainfall. This stuff's over the past 12 hours. You'll see in the thumbnail right below me here, you can see the bullseye here where the rain's been the heaviest. Right in the area where you're seeing the flooding here on the TDOT camera, that's a rough estimate of almost 6 inches of rain. Around Fort Oglethorpe, around 5.8 inches. Let me move the boxes around so you can see this a little bit better. And you can see what I'm talking about here. There's the amounts upwards of almost 6 inches there. Right in that area where we're seeing the flooding of the TDOT camera. Nearly 6 inches for Oglethorpe. All of this area in the purple is where we've seen the worst of it. Let me zoom in a little bit closer there. I can't stress enough, this is not a time to be traveling at all. And this covers a large part of East Ridge. McBrien Road is right here. Prater Road is right here, connected to I-24. Here's Camp Jordan. And here's Ringgold Road. So Ringgold Road, especially McBrien over to Camp Jordan, that's where some of the worst flooding could be occurring, where the heaviest rain has fallen. 5.6, 5 to 5.5 inches. This is just a rough estimate by the radar based on how much has fallen. Then outside this area, you go Fort Oglethorpe area, about 5, East Brainerd, about 4.5. And we were at our weather radio event in Ottawa, and I drove right through this area here on Bonnie Oaks on 317 from Silverdale back down to where our studios are, and I passed several areas where the water is covering the road. You could drive over it, but barely. But you can see that area right in here is going to be over that 4-inch mark. You know, approaching 5, right near the county line, about 5 inches, and you get north of Ottawa, and then it kind of dramatically drops off about 2.5. And you can see, look at our entire viewing area. And it's centered right here, right there. Continuous rain all day long. And then you get these heavy downpours and the ground saturated, you get the flash flooding. Now let's take a look at the current radar as of the moment. We'll turn it back on, so we're going to come back to that momentarily. All right, there's a look at the radar all over. I'm going to remove, this is just an advisory right here in brown. I'm going to remove that in a second so you can kind of see the radar a little bit better. The good news here is that we're going to get a break from the rain coming up, albeit short, but the heavy rain will start shifting north and east. So do be wearing a sunny daisy Cleveland. It's going to lead to a lot of heavy rain coming down in a very short period of time. Let me remove these wind particles also, showing you direction of movement. Very heavy rain also continues toward Cleveland. This is going to go right up I-75 Ottawa to Cleveland with a heavy rain, occasional lightning. Not a severe threat, but it is dangerous with flash flooding. Then there's going to be a bit of a break for a little while for the areas that see the heaviest rain near the East Ridge area. Calhoun, very heavy rain continues there over to around Ranger, Resaca. And if we zoom out a bit more, we're going to see the coverage of showers gradually drop off this evening, but still it's a very dangerous situation out there. Areas north and west of the city, hey, you're okay. I know I'm not covering a lot of you guys from, say, Pikeville, Sawney Daisy, and north, but there's not much going on. The emergency right now is definitely across parts of Hamilton County. Look at that. There's people walking right along the barricade there. Their cars are stalled. You can see the water and the, I kind of say wave action, but it's more of a wake action as a car is driving through it, or creating that wake that the folks are seeing there. But so many folks stranded there. Hey, did you all say there were emergency crews out there already? Okay. Okay.
Lily has a video of Dallas Bay Fire Department or Dallas Bay Rescue.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was checking to see if they have emergency crews out there. I can't see that from where this camera is, but I'm assuming there is. You get an idea of how deep the water is by that person walking right there. So if I just go by an average height of 6 feet, that was just below that person's knees. So roughly about a foot of water, a little over that. This gentleman walking is over his knees. So I would almost say a foot and a half deep of water. Folks, all it takes is about 6 inches of moving water to move a car. Just 6 inches. And this is well over that. I think it's 3 times that. 12 to 18 inches at least. But all of those cars are stalled. We're looking at I-24 eastbound, right between Moore Road and McBrien Road. Traffic seems to be moving, going westbound, but then it's stalled what appears to be eastbound. If I got my directions correct here, looking for the vantage point of this camera. Checking over some of your comments here. Paul says he's lived off Neil Road, off Cloud Springs Road for 10 years. Worst flooding he's ever seen. For sure. Yeah. Brandy says no power in Catoosa. Donna saying parts of Gun Barrel Road closed, and we know that floods a lot through there near the intersection of Shallowford and Gun Barrel. We know that. That can happen. Brandy says in Catoosa, foot of water near driveway. So I appreciate y'all watching. See, Melina says Battlewood Apartments underwater, first floor. That's is that Battlefield Parkway? I believe that's over across from McDonald's and Chick-fil-A there in Fort Oglethorpe. Is that the same Battlewood Apartments near the Walmart neighborhood market? Is that where I'm talking about? Oh boy. One of our viewers, Alex, says I'm stuck on I-24 right now. Lexi says Page Road and Bennett Road closed. That is in East Ridge. And that's right in that area that's had the very, very heavy rain. You can see folks kind of scaling that barricade there. I can't tell. Is that Good Samaritan helping, or is that some emergency officials? Or both? You see the camera going to follow them. Let's see. Watch out for traffic crossing. This is scary to watch. Yeah, that appears to be a emergency responder, where there's police or other official. Yeah. I'm watching as you're watching this. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely directing traffic there. Be careful, sir. Real hero out there today, right now. Definitely helping people. You can see Terrace, it appears on the other side. Traffic moving along fine. This is a really good pull away. And you can see where it's basically just some lanes blocked. It looks to be a full block there. This looks to be coming down the ridge on that upper part of the screen. And you see pedestrians walking along on that outer lane where traffic's moving. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. I'm gonna move to a fewer boxes here, and let's talk about the radar view here. I want to make myself a little smaller. We need to show more of the weather information and less of me. So let's talk about what's happening out there right now. That heavy rain continues to fall in the area that's had the worst flooding. They're about to get a break. That's good. There's going to be a lot of runoff, but now the heavy rain is shifted toward Ottawa. A lot of lightning occurring there. These are not severe storms, but they're very slow moving ones. We already had, enough rain earlier on where it saturated the ground, just kind of off and on. And then you get these heavy downpours, and like that, water runs off. It's like pouring water on a sponge. It's got nowhere to go. And runoff is excessive in these areas. And that heavy rain is going to just ooze or creep right along the Hamilton-Bradley County line to Cleveland, to Ocoee. It seems to be more east of 75 than west of 75. I mean, there are a lot of areas you're watching, you're going, where's all this rain? Sale Creek, Decatur, Spring City, Dayton, Pikeville, Dunlap, you're okay. You're fine. But we're going to concentrate on this area here where the rain continues, and more of that will continue moving by. Whether it rains itself out or continues moving by, we'll stay with you and get you caught up on that. But a sizable break coming up across a large part of northwest Georgia, though some more heavy rain is going to be coming in. You see it there, Resaca to Calhoun, and that's going to move more in this general direction. So Dalton to Chatsworth, you got more heavy rain coming your way. Same thing around Chatsworth to Ellijay. That seems to be where that's moving. Now, it's moving along at a pretty good clip, but we've already seen a lot of rain already. Saturated ground could lead to more runoff and flooding. Now, let me show you where the flood warnings are in effect. And you can see it's right in the heart of the most populated area. So it does go into parts of southwestern Bradley County right here, but mainly it's here, the south and southeastern part of Hamilton, the northern extent of Walker, and then a large part of Catoosa. So Ringgold, Tunnel Hill, Boynton, Fort Oglethorpe, the Battlefield, Chickamauga, Flintstone, down to Kensington, most of Chattanooga, East Ridge, especially, Ottawa, East Brainerd, all under this flash flood warning. And this is an emergency situation, as you saw on the TDOT camera there. It's out to 10:45 Eastern. It may be extended if the rain continues. But across North Georgia, these are out to 11:45, so a little while longer for the same reason. With the ongoing flooding, and it's going to take that long for some of the flood-prone areas for the water to subside quite a bit. All right, this is rainfall over the past 12 hours. Look at the entire viewing area, okay? Centered right in the center part of your map right there. And we're starting to see other pockets of that purple showing up, which we don't want to see. Let's go right here. This is south of Silverdale, Valley View area. That is on road, north of East Brainerd Road. You start seeing that purple. That's about over 5 inches. Yeah, 5.2 there. In the Silverdale area, that's going to be over 4 inches, where you see this deep dark red. And right here at the 2475 interchange, over to Camp Jordan Parkway here, East Ridge, and it's really from McBrien all the way down, all the way to the interstate. You have that flooding going on. Again, these amounts are 5.6, still raining, 5.2, So anywhere in the purples over the 5-inch mark. And just behind that is this massive area of red. Okay, that's over the 4-inch mark. And not to be left behind, a 3-inch mark also. Any of this falling on saturated ground is going to cause a lot of flooding. But of course, where the purple is, that's even worse. But around Fort Oglethorpe, right on Highway 2 there. So you're around 5 inches there. East Ridge, west of McBrien, you're still about 4.5 to 5. East Brainerd, 4.5. Indian Springs here, close to the 4-inch mark. Down toward Chickamauga, if you had roughly about 2.5 to 3. Your rain gauge may have more. I know as soon as I put this, someone's rain gauge is going to have more. But the farther north you go away from the city, the amounts do drop off quite a bit. And again, torrential downpours, Ottawa, back to East Brainerd, and Cleveland, that's going to start moving your way. It is shrinking a little bit, this area, but we'll see it move more over southern parts of Bradley. Southern parts of Bradley not under that warning, but as we just pointed out, there are a lot of areas there where we've already had upwards of 3 to 4 inches of rain. Let's go back, if we could, include that TDOT camera in there. There we go. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. We're looking at I-24 eastbound. This appears to be near Moore Road and McBrien. This is the 184 mile marker. You see people walking along. These people who've been pulled from their car. You see one person right here near the bottom pulling luggage or a rollaway backpack. But they're walking on that one dry lane. And it does get a little bit wet there. You can see people crossing the road. Oh, that scares me. With traffic oncoming. You can see 2 of those lanes blocked. And then a person that was standing on that concrete barricade. Look what the truck is trying to back out. Look how deep it is, all the way up to the bumper. And you can see the SUV, the black SUV here, the tractor trailer behind it, also up to the bumper. Traffic moving along with one lane there on the other side that appears to be the eastbound side. All right, I'm going to take you to another camera here. We're going to go, let me go over here. I'm going to take you to a different camera. That was I-24 at McBrien. We'll move up to Germantown. Actually, no. We're going to move to Ringgold Road at McBrien. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. This is going to be Germantown. Germantown I-24. All right, so the traffic, this again is going eastbound, coming down the ridge after the ridge cut. Traffic moving along, traffic moving faster as they're getting back on I-24 off that Germantown entrance ramp, which is going back westward. So you see it really just reaches its apex there in this part of East Ridge where I-24 goes through. This is right at the I-75, I-24 junction. All right, you can see the traffic. This is looking at, on the left part of your screen there on the TDOT camera is I-75 northbound. And then you've got 75 southbound flowing well. 24 flowing well till they get to the where it flattens out, where it turns into 24, where you get between McBrien and Moore Road. This is I-75 East Brainerd Road. You can see the traffic really backed up there. 75 southbound backing up. You can see some water covering the road there toward Brainerd Road. A little bit of splashing there. Some of the tractor trailers going by. It's not quite as bad as what we're seeing between McBrien and Moore Road. Okay, this is I-75 at Ringgold Road. Yeah, it's just a parking lot there. That is I-75 going northbound on the right-hand part of your screen, and then southbound is moving. But you can see in the usual flood-prone areas on East Ridge, a lot of water ponding there near the rest area exit. Now let's go back to McBrien. And you can see the camera panning around. This is really giving us the scope of the worst part of it. There's that truck still stuck there, way over the bumper. You see the folks there seeking shelter under the underpass. Just trying to stay dry. I see that person's windshield wiper still going. Are they still in the car? Oh my goodness. It looks like the height of the water, it's about reached where it's going to go. So hopefully it won't go any higher than that. There's a black SUV in front of it. And that black sedan there appears to be someone still in there. It's going to take, once this rain stops, and it's stopping that area very shortly, it's going to take a while for this water to go down to drain. I don't, like in a construction area, it's always different. You're going to have more runoff going on. I don't know the layout of the drains there or how it would typically drain. So I don't know the answer to that question. But that's why they've put these flood warnings out for a rather lengthy period of time. Let's take a look at a few other spots here. Okay, 153 area. All right, this is just down the road from us. This is 153.58. At least from this vantage point, that would be on the left-hand side of your screen. That's 317 going. That's Bonnie Oaks. Well, it merges with Bonnie Oaks there. 153 is moving. Let's look at a camera beside that. I guess this would be at the Bonnie Oaks exit. Okay, that's 153 moving. And this is at the dam. I'm sure that's moving also. Yeah. Let's look in Hickson. This is Hickson Pike. Some ponding, but traffic seems to be moving. Let me move up that way just a little bit more. 153 at Grub Road. So you see there are areas where it's still moving. And we'll check here. Closer to downtown tends to get a little flooding in these areas. Let me go to this one. 24 Market. Just going to do it one more time. All right, that is traffic on the right-hand part of your screen. That is traffic approaching the ridge. So that's going to be I-24 east, and then westbound is moving along at a pretty good clip. Although, people stuck way back over the ridge cut. So that's the eastbound traffic approaching the 2475 split, approaching all that. So no one's underwater here per se, but it's approaching that area that has flooding. So let's go back here. This is going to be I-24 Moore Road. So you can see a lot of the traffic stalled, a lot of the, to the right of the barricades there, a lot of flooding, just ponding there, even though the rain appears to have stopped quite a bit. And then we'll go back to McBrien. There you go. Wow, man, goodness. Now this vantage point, you can see in the background, that's the heavy rain moving away. So it's moving out. But now you got still just, I called it wave action, wake action, that heavy rain. And these cars just stalled and they can't go anywhere. And again, that it appears to be all stalled going eastbound. The westbound has that one open lane, which first responders and pedestrians are using to get to safety over toward Terrace. Oh, it's a log jam there just trying to get in. Those are all stalled. Yeah, with their flashers on. I don't know if those cars have hit or if they're just stuck in the water. You see people standing on that barricade right there. I'm seeing this as you're seeing it. But this is an area that, based on radar, had about between 5 and 6 inches of rain. And when it falls in that short of a period of time, it's got nowhere to go but run off. And seeing where those cars are, where they were kind of a log jam right there, that traffic behind it's not going to move for a long time.
Hey, David.
Hey.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
We got some video on Slack from Ray
Okay.
that shows another POV of all that flooding.
Okay.
You want to?
Open a new tab here.
Yeah.
This is Samantha, by the way.
Hello.
She's telling me that we got some other good video to look at. So I'll go ahead and log in here.
Slack.
Oh, Slack. But it's,
Our Slack.
oh, our
Right.
Slack. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Not that. I always think of Stack. Yeah. Let me log in. Slack, Stackla. It's all the same thing. I already had that there. Try it again. Now sign in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you should get a code.
Stand by, everybody. We'll show you some more video here.
Yep,
Yes.
that one.
All right. I'll leave it on this page too, if that's
Yeah. Alex tagged you, I believe.
okay.
So it should be in your mentions. Do use Slack in your browser.
Gotcha.
And then go to your activity. Right here. And go to your mentions.
Okay.
Right here.
This one?
Yep. And there's multiple clips from the
Okay.
Ray of the flooding that you can show. And all you got to do is share this tab instead. And that'll show that video.
Okay. Will it show it like this, or can I click it? It's an individual one.
You can full screen it, but whatever's on the screen will show.
Okay.
So yeah.
See, I'll
But you should be able to, yeah, you can take these full screen
okay.
and then hit share this tab instead, and it'll share that to them.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks, Samantha. All right, that shows some. This was shot by our crews, right? This is our crews that are there on the scene. Gives you an idea a little bit better of some of the traffic trying to move through there, but you can see how bad it is. Again, that's this is all on I-24. Oh goodness, look at the I-24 in McBrien. So we were showing you the live TDOT cam, and now this shows you looks like the rain has stopped. It kind of gives you an idea of the traffic, how difficult it was moving by, and then how deep on that other side, which I think is the westbound side, and how bad it got. Wow. That was Ray Collado, our reporter out there, showing that video. So let's go back to the task at hand here. Let's give you a weather update, then we'll go back to the cameras in a second. There we go. So currently, the heavier rain is right over Ottawa at the moment. Nothing severe. I'm going to move this special weather statement out of the way, which is what you see in brown, just to clear things up just a little bit. Give me just 1 second. There we go. And we'll just say that. This shows you the heavy rain area seems to be shrinking a little bit, but still from Harrison, Ottawa, East Brainerd, still raining pretty heavily. But at least in the area where the flash flooding occurred, the worst of it right in here, it has stopped. There's still a little light rain occurring, but still very heavy rain here. So this part of Ottawa where the heavy rain's occurring, again, just stay home. I can't stress this enough. It's still raining heavily. You're under a flash flood warning anyway till 10:45. And it's only going to get worse if you're seeing areas where flash flooding has been occurring. Someone asked me a good question here. Most of this rain, this 5 to 6 inches, has fallen in a 3-hour time span, just in the past 3 hours. It's a lot of water, but it was falling on already saturated ground. So the showers that we had earlier on today were saturating the ground. Then we got that 5 to 6 inches in 3 hours time or less. And that's the result, is that flooding. Toward Cleveland, you got moderate to at times heavy downpours, not under a flood warning, but be advised that flash flooding could be occurring. Same thing over toward Polk County. So this was the area that came in and did most of the flooding. Let's move it away to the north and east. And we were also tracking some other bands of heavy downpours approaching Dalton. This is a pretty noisy storm right here. It is not severe, but right along the Murray-Whitfield County line, a lot of heavy rain and a lot of lightning with that storm. Let's check out the storm tracks on that one. Yeah, that one's got a lot of lightning with it. Could have some strong wind gusts with it, but it's going to go right between Dalton and Chatsworth. Now, keep in mind, you're not under a flood warning, but that's going to cause some flash flooding and excessive runoff. Also be aware of the lightning risk. Thunder roars, head indoors. We have these rhymes. Turn around, don't drown for flooding. Thunder roars, go indoors. That's for lightning safety. And if we go back to the entire viewing area, not everybody's impacted by this. Really, from northwest of the city and all these other areas here, you're in the clear right now. I mean, you're very fortunate. A few showers around, but nowhere near as bad as the other areas have had it. So again, I've got this noted on here. This is rainfall over the past 12 hours. Most of this has fallen in the past just 3 hours alone, since it's late afternoon. Again, you can see where we're talking. 6 inches, approaching 6, also. That's south of Silverdale, north of East Brainerd. And of course, this is the area where we were looking at the TDOT cams, upwards of about 6 inches there. Fort Oglethorpe, you got about up to 5. In and around Ringgold, you're kind of in that 3-inch range. Ottawa, it's still raining, so this will be being updated by about 3 inches there. So your rain gauge may have had more. I'm going to put the TDOT camera back up there. There we go. So we're still looking at the TDOT cameras here. Gives us a vantage point of the ongoing flooding. Traffic, it seems to be moving now. It appears to be on the eastbound. So in the foreground is eastbound. Background is westbound. You can still see quite a bit. You're down to one lane. And it's not going to be easy to drain that. Looking at some of your questions here. Haley says, will this clear by morning? It's hard to say. I think a lot of it will. But I think there may still be areas that may have a little bit of water. So if you have travel plans in the morning, plan a little extra time now just to be safe. Because even away from these areas, many other areas have seen some flooding, at least water covering the road. You'll be amazed at how time during the night can, once it stops raining, can allow this runoff to drain out. But that's a lot of water in that area. And I don't know how much of a factor the concrete barriers are. They seem to be channeling it, of course, but how much of a factor they are. And I'm sure there's some openings along the way that allow water to drain, but it's not a very fast process. And it doesn't help. Of course, you have more runoff happening there. You can see it in the foreground, right at the bottom corner of that camera where the people are walking. Go to the right of them. It's a free flow right there. And that's in the shoulder, the earthen shoulder off the side of the interstate. We'll take a look at some of the other video that we have here. While we watch that other TDOT camera there.
David, I just DM'd you a pretty crazy video you can use.
Right? I heard y'all talking. I was looking on Slack. Is it
Yeah, so I DM'd it to you as well.
all right? Is it here?
DMs.
Oh, DM. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm all over the place.
So, officer helped rescue a woman out of
Oh,
the
we
water.
watched this. We saw this live.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, we'll show this again. Yeah, we saw this when it happened. You see this officer rescuing this woman from I guess I'm assuming that's near her SUV or truck, and then basically walks her over. But you can see when it's up to knee deep, man, that's 1.5 feet of water. And so the cars are stalled, but hero in action right there, folks. They are out there helping. Good job, sir. And we saw that live when it happened. All right, we'll go back to the SmartWay camera here and put that back up. And you can see there, again, just following along here, still down to one lane. It seems to be stopped in all directions there, westbound. Way back in the background where it says SmartWay just underneath there. Let me now show you again, what we're dealing with here as far as the rainfall amounts have just been excessive there. 5 to 6 inches of rain, and a lot of that was under a very, very short period of time. I want to save that image right there. There we go. Now I'll show you our short range model. on how long this rain's going to stick around tonight. And again, it's starting to end in the areas that had the worst flooding. But let me pull this up. This is the high-res model. So let me back it up just a little bit. So it shows that overall trend between now and late evening is reduction in the amount of rain. That's good. But there'll still be some showers possible overnight. It doesn't appear to be heavy, but when you deal with a situation like this, very convective like this, you may have a storm blow up. So high-res models you have to take with a grain of salt. It does show during the pre-dawn hours some rain occurring. So if that were to occur around work time, going to work early Wednesday morning, it could aggravate a flooding situation or cause a flooding situation where the ground's saturated. So we kind of scatter around the morning, a little bit better chance on into the afternoon. But at the very least in the short term, I backed it up. In the short term, the heaviest downpours of rain will start shifting away to the north and east. And that's hopeful trend that continues. The whole culprit of all this upper level trough right here. Okay. We saw that coming from yesterday. It came up from the Gulf, went due north. That's what we had. And that'll be gradually moving away. I think tomorrow this will be a good chance of scattered thunder showers off and on. I think primarily afternoon tomorrow. And then as we go toward Thursday, Friday, chance of rain goes down, temperatures go up. So today, tomorrow being the wettest, with today being the wettest of all these days. And there's a current radar view right now. We'll check some of the river gauges here. Give me 1 second. I'll pull that up. Continue to look at the radar. Let me expand the radar so you can see it just a little bit better. Because we got loud storms, not severe, but very loud, Dalton to Chatsworth, causing more heavy rain there. All right, if you look at this, this is the South Chickamauga Creek near that area where flooding was ongoing. That is the gauge there, and you can see that big jump. I mean, no surprise here, that big jump where flood stage is 18 feet, peaking at 9.85. So latest observed was at 7:15. It'll be another one just in the next few minutes. That was at 9.85 feet. So flood stage there is 18 feet. I have a feeling with more runoff occurring, these I think it's probably going to go up a bit. It shows a gradual decrease, which is customary when you're dealing with flooding like this. But I want to look at this again after 8 o'clock and see where it stands as far as how much that has risen. Because now it's taking in the runoff at the South Chickamauga Creek. This is West Chickamauga Creek near Lakeview. Latest observed is 11 feet. No, sorry. Flood stage. My bad. Flood stage 11 feet. Latest observed 4 feet. Again, West Chickamauga Creek, that cause panic. West Chickamauga Creek to Lakeview is at 4 feet observed. Flood stage is 11. Action stage is at 9. That's before it reaches flood stage. Apologize about that. All right, South Chickamauga Creek at Ringgold. Latest observed 5 feet, flood stage 15. So all these so far below flood stage, but again, we're not finished with all the runoff yet. But we always watch this one very carefully. This is really taking a jump. Latest observed at 7:15. So we'll have a new update coming up in the next 10, 15 minutes. latest observed at South Chickamauga Creek was just under 10 feet with flood stage at 18 feet. So we'll see what runoff does to that. And there we go. We're still looking at I-24. This is I-24 at McBrien Road. You know, you've seen a combination of traffic moving by, pedestrians out of their car, having to be rescued out of their car, moving away, walking along to the exit. But you can see even on the earthen area, the shoulder, free flow of water there. And then right between the median, we got these concrete barriers where they're doing construction, kind of channeling that water a bit. Hey, Josh.
I left you set up, so
Oh.
if you need to go,
Okay.
you just need to put batteries in the mic.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. All right, let me go back to this other video we had. I'll show you some other video that we had. Our crews have been out. All right, let's look at some of this.
I would say if you can be live, but you have lights.
Trying to get you some different video here. All right, this appears to be, is that Ringgold Road? This is Northmore. Okay, now it's back to I-24.
It's not going to look good at night. Trust me.
I'm going to take that full screen so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, and this is so the video our crews have shot this a little bit earlier on I-24. I believe this is Ray Collado who's been out there, but it shows you, I mean, that's up to their bumper. Truck's faring a little bit better, of course, being a higher profile, but it is not easy to pass. Look at the traffic just kind of snakes around there, trying to find a lane. And this was shot earlier also. I mean, some of the cars just submerged there, especially the one in the background. Up to about the windows, not quite totally submerged there for that one car that dipped under. This is a little bit different vantage point than we just saw.
You did good, sister. I'm proud of you, okay?
Got a fighter there.
You can see all the, look, it's like a lake back behind the concrete barricade. It's like a lake through there. And there's that one submerged car from a different angle.
There's a beaver over there.
Hopefully everybody got out of there.
He got washed out of his dam, I guess.
And look, I guess you see, there's the one drain. Goodness. Okay. Now let's go back to the SmartWay camera. There we go. So like the video has stopped there. Now I see people walking. I mean, Yeah, traffic just stopped. You can see in the background there's people walking, but the car in the foreground here is just stopped. That's why I thought for a second there the camera had stopped. But you can see the water still flowing on both sides there. There it goes, panning. I mean, we've seen this happen before, but to this extent, I can't remember that. I mean, to see it like this, and I'd have to go back to like the flood of 1973. I was about 6 years old when that happened. I remember that vividly, where Eastgate Mall was flooded, a lot of flooding in East Ridge, and it brings back memories of that. But I can't recall since that time, this part of the interstate being underwater like that until thinking back that far. I can't think of a time. You know, we've had flooding in the past, you know, around Spring Creek, around Camp Jordan, but for this part of the interstate, I'd have to say that maybe for that part of the interstate, maybe the worst in 73. And that was in late winter, early spring, when you typically get more of the long-term flooding. That was more of a widespread flooding. This is more of an isolated flash flooding event. Anyway, you can see the first responders there on the scene, making sure everybody is getting out safely. They're doing a great job out there. And you can see the block, kind of the top of the screen blocking the entrance that would take you on I-24. And I came through there 3:30 this afternoon on my way to Ottawa to our weather radio event. Not a problem. Wide open. I mean, it was, you know, it was raining, but not like this. Not like this. And just in that 3-hour time frame, from the time I was there in Ottawa, and of course it started raining, we got the flood warnings about during just after 5:30. This is the result. And you can see here, let's go back to the radar view here just a little bit. I'm going to pull the radar up. We'll come back to the camera in a minute. Extremely loud storm going on Dalton to Chatsworth. This is not a severe storm, but it's a bit noisy out there, folks. And no statement on that either. So that's good. But it, you know, please remember the lightning threat as that moves off to the north and east. So right around 41, 76, Dalton to Chatsworth, heavy rain. So Varnell, Crandall, that's starting to come your way. And the streamlines here that you see flowing, I always plot that because it helps show you where the upper level flow is, where, you know, where the wind's carrying it today. And that's what that's illustrating. So kind of moving in that general direction to the north and east. They're kind of responding to that north to south movement today. Deep, what we call tropical Gulf moistures are moving in all day long. Elegy to Blue Ridge, moderate rain there. No flood warnings in those areas. And again, the area that was causing the very heavy rain in southern Hamilton, there it is, what's left of it. It's still raining pretty heavily. Southern Bradley County, south of Cleveland. So the South Cleveland area, right along 1164. But the other areas around the city that had the worst flooding, the rain has come to a stop, thankfully. And everybody else, mostly to the south and west, not much going on. The evening kind of dying down just a little bit. And there you can see the rainfall. Most of this fell in about a 3-hour time frame. Where you see the purple, this is where it exceeds 5 inches. For some, it's up to close to 6. The red indicates about 4 inches, and the orange about 3 inches. Don't want to leave those behind. 2 to 3 inches is enough. But this is where it got excessive. Let's check the latest update there. So right, we were looking at McBrien, that area, down 6.5. estimated by the radar. So now it's taking that jump above the 6-inch mark. See if they extended that warning. Yeah, they extended that warning a little bit longer. Yeah, scrolling. I always make sure our warnings are scrolling on our screen on both Fox Chattanooga and News Channel 9. Over to Camp Jordan area, I don't think you're going to notice much of a change in that amount. 5.5. So there's kind of a difference there. It's around East Brainerd, close to 5. And moving over here, where this is the Valley View area, just off between Standiford Gap and East Brainerd. This area has exceeded the 5-inch mark. And there's Standiford Gap, just south of Silverdale, about 5 inches as well. Collegedale, 4.8, approaching the 5-inch mark. And still raining. You can see just a sharp drop off. I mean, look at the difference here. You go from, just show you for example, so look at Kensington, 1. Around Chickamauga, kind of in that 2 to 3, well, 3.5. And then you go 15 miles north, you jump 5 to 6 inches. Sharp drop off in all directions. And that shows you what we're dealing with now. Still dealing with some loud storms. Dalton and Chatsworth, that'll be approaching the state line right around the 8:30 time frame.
Yes.
And again, this is a live look as of 8:06 p.m. Eastern time. The traffic stopped on I-24. This is I-24 at McBrien Road. It seems to be where the worst part of this occurring. And I'm hearing other reports here. Like this report from Fort Oglethorpe, Fant Drive to Cedar Lane. I believe that was near the apartment complex there. Joycelyn says flooded pretty bad in Fort Oglethorpe from Fant Drive to Cedar Lane. That's another area that tends to flood a lot. We've had flooding in the past. So a lot of these flood-prone areas are once again seeing that. And then quite a bit of flooding on Ringgold Road. We don't have cams. I'm sure our reporters are out in the field getting this, but we don't have the live cam aspect there. Sharon here saying hardly anything in Calhoun, Tennessee. Yeah. That's how it goes in situations like this before. All right, let's check a few other cams out there. And that seems to be the worst. Let's go to, this is I-24 Spring Creek Road. Standstill. Oh, there's a parking lot. And that seems to be, let's see if that's if that is right at Spring Creek, and that is going to be the looking eastbound. No, that's looking westbound. And nothing moving from the eastbound lane where it's blocked. So everything going over Spring Creek Road in the background. I always see the Smartway banner. There's Spring Creek Road right there. Movie theater back behind it. And so you've got the eastbound lane, which is completely blocked, so no traffic coming out of there. Westbound completely blocked as well, but it's a parking lot. But from eastbound, not going to be anybody coming at all because it's all underwater. That's the same one we just looked at. That one too. 7524 Junction. So again, this is going westbound. It's I-75 south where it turns into 24 westbound. You can see a little sun trying to come back. But traffic blocked there. Even an emergency, it's like a first responder truck trying to get to that. They can't really make any progress. But 75, curling toward the 75 southbound seems to be flowing okay. Everything is just kind of logjam there at I-24 between McBrien and Moore Road. Seems to be the worst part. And this is at South Moore. The camera's moving. The traffic is not. And we'll go back to McBrien. It's to stand still there. I'm going to take a look at the, see if there was an update to the South Chickamauga Creek. Not yet. All right, I'm going to show you this one. All right, what I'm showing you is Wolf Teaver Creek near Ottawa. All right, latest observed is 6.5 feet. And so this is at Wolf Teaver Creek near Ottawa. 6.5 feet, which has reached action stage. So if you live along that creek, it continues to rise, okay? Flood stage is 7, where you start getting minor flooding. You see right there at 6.5 feet. And continuing to rise. That was as of 7:45 Eastern time. 7:45 Eastern time, 6.5 feet. That is Wolf Teaver near Ottawa. So it is already in action phase. Minor flooding is 7, which of course is also flood stage. So it's approaching flood stage there. South Chickamauga Creek. Still, the last reading was, it should be coming in any minute now. That was at 7:15. That's an old reading. Friar Branch in Chickamauga. Excuse me, near Chattanooga. 9 feet. Oh, they just put that in yellow. Hold on a second. So that took a big jump in the past hour. That's at 9 feet. Now let's see if they updated this one. That's still 7:15. This is South Chickamauga Creek, where we always watch very carefully situations like this. They're still sitting about 9.85 feet. Let's go back to the SmartWay camera here. Let's look at a few other spots here. Going up 75 just a bit. We'll go to the Ottawa area. Where we know some other heavy rain pockets have been falling. This I-75 153. I'm looking at where traffic is stalled. Let's look right here. I-75 Volkswagen Drive. Can't see anything there. 75 north of Bonnie Oaks. Still flowing. Same thing. So 75 seems to be flowing okay.
I'm if you'll give me 1 moment, I'm gonna put you on hold and I'll find out. Okay.
And that's 75 northbound. Of course, the southbound lane in the background where conditions are worsening there, where the traffic's backing up. I-75 East Brainerd Road. Again, this is you're starting to see the backup, the residual backup there. And this I-75 at Ringgold Road. You can see, I think, do you see that in the background? Do you see that? Look at the background, just left of the SmartWay camera. That's a rainbow. How about that? It's a rainbow right there. Hey guys, if you look at the TDOT camera, look at the TDOT camera, I-75 at Ringgold Road. You see a rainbow in the background. Yeah, so the TDOT camera, I-75 at Ringgold Road. It's just dissipating now, but wow. But you can see to the left there where the water's ponded there in the clover leaf of the entrance ramp. So that shows you an idea of how much rain's fallen in that Ringgold Road area. So I'm sure the Camp Jordan area, which is very flood prone there, has probably seen quite a bit. I'm trying to get as close as I can. I think once you cross the state line, the cameras run out. That's at the junction. That's not going to show me anything but blocked traffic. So again, it's this camera that shows that has the worst of it. I-24 McBrien.
For Josh's anchor intro starting off, I'm gonna have him at the band. In our Sony CI folder.
And I'm just going to show you, even there's no camera, you see where I'm sorry, you see where it's just backed up through there. See this, we're looking at Ringgold Road, and you go all the way down Ringgold Road to McBrien. It's heavy traffic through there if it's passable. So I'm showing you the areas that still have, at least we know, some flooding. Because I go from Kingwood Drive all the way to McBrien, where traffic is stopped. And then all of 24 up and over the ridge, back downtown. 24 westbound and eastbound, both lanes. Now 153, this is Bonnie Oaks, this area, heavy traffic here. I can assume there might be some water covering the road. I know when I came through that area actually before 7 o'clock, and there was a lot of water on the road there. So I can tell you just from past experience, there's a lot of water covering the road, slowing traffic down. Let's see if we see anything on that camera. I don't think you can see quite well to Bonnie Oaks itself. Nope. And then the Jersey Pike, same thing. Let's take a look at that cam. Can we see anything on Jersey Pike? Traffic on 153 is moving. But Jersey Pike itself, we've seen reports. I've heard some of your comments there about some of the water backing things up a bit.
Can
Yeah.
you pass along to people? TDOT is closing I-24 between US 27 and I-75 due to the flooding.
All right, say it again. You
You want me to
I'm
say
gonna let Samantha. She has breaking news here, and I'm afraid I'll say it wrong. So Samantha,
everyone, TDOT is shutting down I-24 between US 27 and I-75. We just got this news from Rayanne Bradley. She's our TDOT representative on Twitter. She is posting a lot of traffic updates there, so you can check in there, and we will have our website updated as well.
so that goes all the way to the 75 split, and then the merge of 27 is what goes to downtown.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's a huge area. So thank you, Samantha. So I want to make sure she said it right. So what you're looking at on the screen, that goes from on the right-hand part of your screen, the and move it back. The 7524 junction, I-24 is closed all the way to the junction with Highway 27. And she's got the specifics here on the mile marker. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, mile marker 184 and 185.
Okay. And that's where we're looking on the camera is right at 184 and a half on McBrien Road. So there you go. So where 24 ends, merges with 75, all the way back to Highway 27. You see, I guess these are all the people that probably been rescued from their cars, waiting on the status of their cars right there. All right, we'll come back to that. We'll go to the radar. And again, share the current status of what's going on. The area that was hardest hit with the flash flooding right here, rain's moved away, thankfully. Still moderate downpours, nothing too bad. Cleveland, Ocoee, Turtletown, up to around Tellico Plains. Very noisy here. This storm rolled through Dalton, kind of moving away, kind of merging with that cell between Chatsworth and Cisco. So heavy rain, a lot of lightning there, but again, it's not a severe storm. And just to outline where the flash flood warnings are still in effect and for how long, I'll put that on the screen for you. So out of all of our viewing area as a whole, okay, that's the only part there that's under the flash flood warning. Now, various expiration times here for southeastern Hamilton County, that's out till 10:45 Eastern time. Across Catoosa County, this is out till 12:30. Okay, so a little bit different timing there because it's going to take a while for the runoff. And then, of course, in Walker County, I believe that's till 11:45. So late evening, so to speak. Take a while for the water to subside. And a comment here from, I hope I say your name correctly, Rosio. Says, we are currently standing here on I-24 West with 3 kids. We're heading to the hometown in Missouri. I am so sorry for your delay. I hope y'all are okay, though. Being safe and sound is so important right now. But thank you for your comment there. And a lot of people there waiting on the side of the road there. So again, as far as the rain, heaviest downpours are again from Murray, Bradley, Southern McMinn, Polk, and Monroe, and Fannin, but none of these other areas are underneath flood warnings. Be aware of some excessive runoff for sure, and occasional lightning, but not severe at this time. Let's see. I'm going to see if there's an update to the rain gauge at South Chickamauga Creek. Refresh that page. Yeah, still at 10 feet. We'll check back on that.
okay to roll on our live feed? That's not a question I made.
And here again, people are asking about rain the rest of the night. If we do get it, it doesn't appear to be as widespread as what we already had. This is about a little over an hour from now, 9:30, 9:45. You see the rain easing up a bit. And then toward morning, and we'll back it up. This is during the evening and overnight. Things do get a little bit quieter, projected to be quieter. That's good. But right around daybreak, tomorrow morning, could get another round of some downpours in spots. And the problem here again is you're pouring water on a wet sponge. If you get some heavy downpours, immediately it's going to cause some flooding and runoff. So be prepared and understand that projections are there. There's could be some rain between 7 and 8 a.m., which could cause some runoff. So just already plan some extra time to start your day in the event that these showers transpire. I mean, there's a chance they may not. This is according to a model. It's an estimate, but it just shows you there could be some downpours early through midday. So there's that chance there. So we could be seeing a situation like this again. You've already had 5 to 6 inches of rain. You add more to that, and it's going to cause more flash flooding again. Again, there's a current radar view showing you the rain easing away as we approach sunset. And there again, as we approach sunset, and it's not going to be quite as visible about the next 15 minutes, but you can see it's a river on I-24. And that's been the biggest problem tonight. Numerous cars still stuck. Many people on the McBrien overpass or bridge, I'm sure, taking pictures. I think some have actually been rescued from their cars taken there. Yeah. Some people asking, will the roads be okay tomorrow? I think, some water will subside in many areas, but you're going to have to really take it easy tomorrow. It's hard to say how some areas drain faster than others. With the saturated ground, it may be a lot slower. With creeks and those branch tributaries feeding into creeks and rivers are up. So it'll be carrying some water away. I-24, I can't estimate that. We do know that I-24 is closed there, mile marker 184, 185, which basically is where it merges with 75 all the way back to Highway 27, west of the Ridge Cut. So that's going to be it's going to be a long time. It shows you up on Moore Road, how backed up the traffic is. This is back to Germantown. And that is going east. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop that. I was trying to move it over there. And that is going eastbound. Josh asking, going to work in Chatsworth in a few hours. Will Chatsworth be okay? I think so. Chatsworth's not under any warning right now. I'd always be aware of some water running over the road there because it's going to be dark. So be careful traveling. Give yourself some extra time. But as far as we know, no ongoing flooding there. Okay. I'm looking over some other reports here. Sorry, just going through some other messages here. People sending by email. We don't have any word on schools tomorrow. I need somebody would ask that, and it's wise to ask that, but we've not heard anything about that yet. Yeah, I'll make sure. No one's heard anything about any schools tomorrow. No reports, anything.
No reports yet. No.
Okay. Yeah, no reports on that. So just confirming. Thank you.
David, Lindsay says there is a shelter for anyone impacted with Brainerd Recreation Center.
Brainerd Rec Center.
Yep.
Okay.
Those impacted by flooding and need to evacuate.
Okay. Getting news from here that there is a flooding evacuation center, the Brainerd Rec Center, Brainerd Recreation Center. So those who live in that area where flooding has occurred, you can go to shelter there. Again, that's at the Brainerd Recreation Center. Man, I've gotten a lot of text messages here. Hang on one second. All right. Yeah, Eric asking, is there a time frame when I-24 West will be open? Has a son stuck in traffic? I don't know the answer to that question. It's going to be for an extended period of time that part of I-24 closed. So we'll pass along when we hear something, but I don't have a time frame on that. And I know it's nervousness hearing about a loved one stuck there in traffic, but we'll pass it along when we hear that. Okay. All right. And it's amazing how here we are approaching, 8:30, which, it's still daylight this time of day. But after all that rain, after all that, and here's the sun coming back. It's amazing. All right, folks. Let me go show you one more time the SmartWay camera here from McBrien, where the worst has been. So as we approach sunset, there you go. And of course, that's looking back with the setting sun to the west. And that's not going to move for a while there. I don't know if they got to pump that out or what. I'm at a loss here. That's a lot of water. Even down to the median, and still those cars in the westbound lane still stuck. And a lot of people stopped there on the McBrien Road overpass. Check the update again for the rain gauge at South Chickamauga Creek. Let's see what we got here. Is any update? Aha, we do have one. All right, let me show you this. Got an update from the South Chickamauga Creek rain gauge, creek gauge. And here we go. It's right now at 12.68 feet. So that has jumped about 3 feet in the last hour. So the good news here is that the rain has stopped. There will still be some runoff going on, but flood stage is 18 feet. Action stage is 16. So it's about 3 feet away from that minor flooding zone, 18 feet at flood stage. So South Chickamauga Creek, as of the 8:15 observed stage, 12.68 feet. So just about a little over 12.5 feet, with action stage at 16 feet. So that continues to rise there.
I'm looking at the camera right now where he is. Obviously, there's cars all over the bridge where he is right now, but I-24 is just a river, and there aren't any emergencies there, other than there's like one flashy light, like two cops.
All right, let's talk about what's going to happen for the rest of the overnight hours. So a lot of folks are asking about that. As things we're kind of at a point now where on 24, the water rescues have kind of stopped there, and because all traffic is just stopped. So from basically the 184, 185 mile marker on I-24, which is where it merges with 75, and then back to Highway 27, just west of the Ridge Cut, that's closed. Okay. So as far as other areas go, the only flood warnings at this time, okay, are in Hamilton, Catoosa, and Walker. So no other areas under flood warnings. It doesn't mean you won't have any flooding. You could have some runoff in spots, but the amounts of rain are a lot less in these areas. Now, where it's raining heavily, it's starting to add up. Just try not to travel, okay? These aren't severe. They're going to be lifting away. But Cleveland, Turtletown, and to the southeast of Athens, some downpours coming down, but not severe, okay? But this is where the flood warnings remain in effect. Flood warning for Hamilton County is out till 10:45 Eastern. They have not extended it. Catoosa's out till well after midnight. Okay. And North Walker out till 11:45. Just in anticipation of the water to subside a bit. Now, as far as rainfall over the past 12 hours, and most of this fell in less than 3 hours' time. As you can see, many areas around the viewing area had 1 to 2. Very common, but it was right here. That's where the worst was. And these amounts in purple exceeding 6 inches of rain. Right there at McBrien Road area, 5.2, 4.6. I believe we had a 6-inch mark a few minutes ago. Let me double check this. We'll do this live. Yeah, that's right near the McBrien area, 6.6 there. this other spot near south of Silverdale, anything in the purple is above 5 inches. Okay. So these amounts quite common. You go into the red, like East Brainerd, over 5, 4.5 to 5. Fort Oglethorpe, almost 5. So this is, I'm looking back at 12 hours time frame, but a lot of that heavy rain fell in under 3 hours time. Basically between the 4 to 7 p.m., 5 to 8 time frame, depending upon how, as it made its progression north and east. If we zoom out, you can just see there's a marked difference there. Look how much it drops off in all directions around Red Bank, not as much. To Chickamauga, about 3.5, but still not as much. You go south of Chickamauga, not much at all. Tunnel Hill, nothing compared to Ringgold. Varnell, not as much compared to these areas just in the north and west. And Cleveland, not as much as areas up and over White Oak. Completely different story. Collegedale, Ottawa, and over down East Brainerd. Again, more specifically, here's Valley View subdivision. At 5.5 to 6. Again, your rain gauge may have had more. I understand that. And if you do have a rain gauge, let me know. Okay. Yeah, 5.5. 41 is Ringgold Road right here. So from basically McBrien all the way over to Camp Jordan, that's where we had the heaviest rainfall there. And that just shows you how much of our viewing area is not impacted by this. But most of the heavy rain moving away. It's still raining heavily, parts of Bradley, McMinn, Monroe, and Polk, but not to the extent that it once was. Still be aware of areas where you're going to have some flash flooding in spots, some localized flooding. But the problem is you get, that could have set up anywhere. But of course, for us, it had to set up right there where the worst traffic happens in the worst time of day. And there it was. And the end result was all of those cars stalled on the interstate. Just, perfect setup there for that to happen. But fortunately, as far as we know, everyone is safe. And that's good. But let's keep it that way and not travel in areas that have been flooded out. And since we are approaching sunset, let's go look at the cams one more time. You can see the reflection of the sunset there off the water. Typically, you see that over a lake, not over an interstate. You can see pedestrians walking by right near the bottom of the overpass. And, of course, police officers blocking all entrance ramps as that area by 24 is closed. I'll check in with the newsroom here real quick. I'll be right back. Yeah, folks, I did some double checking there in the newsroom to check. We've had no reports of any injuries so far, and that's good. We do know they're doing some water rescues, Hickory Valley Road over to Shallowford Road. So these are out of camera view of the TDOT cameras, but we do know that. So CFD is doing some water rescues there. That's Hickory Valley Road near Shallowford Road. So still, many areas out of these camera ranges are having other flooding issues in localized areas. But these are the areas that, again, saw upwards of 5 to 6 inches of rain. I also mentioned Fort Oglethorpe. We do know there was some flooding there. Fant Drive, that's over near the McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and that area right on Battlefield Parkway. Thanks, Alex. So here we go. Fire crews have been out across the city tonight rescuing motorists trapped in vehicles. This is from Lindsay Rogers, Master PIO at Chattanooga Fire Department. And just giving you an update here, Lindsay says fire crews have been out across the city for hours tonight, rescuing motorists trapped in vehicles, as you've seen here on the camera, and assisting residents stuck in their homes. There are swift water rescue personnel on McCutcheon and Hickory Valley. So McCutcheon and Hickory Valley Road for people trapped in their cars. All right. So CFD personnel will continue responding to calls until the water recedes. No injuries reported this time. That's good news to hear. Brainerd Rec Center at 1010 North Moore Road has been open as a shelter for anyone that's been impacted. Their command post is also operating out of that location. I-24 between Belvoir and Spring Creek. So that's roughly, I believe we mapped it out, 184, 185. Mile marker 184, 185. Interstate 24 between Belvoir and Spring Creek is shut down indefinitely in both directions due to the flooding. They urge you to stay off the roads and don't drive through flooded areas. It only adds to their workload when you get stuck. And these folks are out and about tonight. Hamilton County Emergency Operations Center has been activated for coordinating response efforts. And they'll let us know more with time. That's from Lindsay Rogers with the Chattanooga Fire Department. So again, they're doing some water rescues. Again, I'll recap that. McCutcheon and Hickory Valley for people trapped in their cars. And other water rescues at this time in other areas not specified. But again, Brainerd Rec Center, 1010 North Moore Road, open as a shelter for anyone impacted. All right. So that gives you an update on the other areas that you don't see here, covered on the SmartWay camera. But you can kind of get an idea if you look at, let me go back to the map. If you look at where the red is on the map, it may give you an idea of what's happening. And we do, this is I-24 zoomed in on. I've seen some impressive video from Ringgold Road near South Germantown. This area I'm zooming in on here where it's red, a lot of water flowing there. Of course, that's coming off the ringgold down. That's across to the New Food City. I saw some impressive flooding video there. So be aware of all this area. See where all the red is as I move the map on Ringgold Road, which is Highway 41. That's had a lot of flooding in spots. And I think it only gets worse the more you go from McBrien all the way down to the I-75 interchange. And here's the Hickory Valley area where they say we're doing some water rescues. So as you can imagine, there are going to be some pockets in here where lower in elevation, you know, where water ponds, there's not good drainage to where you're going to have some of these issues. So I want to urge everyone to please be very careful tonight. Don't travel if you don't have to. The interstate's a mess right now. And even the secondary roads is where people are using to get home. There's been a lot of folks stuck in traffic since they left work earlier today. I know when I came back from Ottawa from our weather radio event, it ended at 6:30. I knew 75 might be bad. I got off at Bonnie Oaks way, way, way up near Collegedale and took Bonnie Oaks back to our studios here. And there was water covering the road in many spots, but no standstills. But there were already flashing signs on the interstate that said, hey, 2 to 3 miles up, there's going to be stalled traffic. So you could sense what was starting to happen and starting to the ripple effect of the traffic there. And so a lot of folks have been stuck in that traffic ever since then. But for the most part, and I'll go back here to the radar view, heavier rain's moving out. We're still going to have occasional showers at times during the night. You know, we look downstream where all this rain's coming from. There's still some pockets of rain. They don't appear to be getting stronger, but there's going to be some occasional showers coming in. So you can anticipate that it's going to take a while for the floodwaters to recede.
Hamilton County Schools just called. There is a 2-hour delay.
2-hour delay. Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate that. All right. Hamilton County Schools 2-hour delay. I had seen comments on that from a few folks. You may have gotten the alert from the schools, but we didn't hear about that officially here. But that was Samantha let me know that is official. Hamilton County Schools on a 2-hour delay for tomorrow. And you can find all of those. And I don't know, if that list will grow with time, but if it does, you can go to our website, and I'll show you this in a few minutes, and newschannel9.com, and you click on, and I'll show you the tab. Click on the closings tab, and it'll show you closings and delays. But Hamilton County 2-hour delay for Wednesday morning. And again, with buses having to go through all this, and still a big question on how much will recede, how much won't recede, and a few more showers coming in overnight, at least on a scatter basis. Not a bad idea at all. And I urge you as well, if you have a long commute tomorrow, if your normal commute's long and it goes to these areas that have been flooded, plan some extra time just in case. Just in case. All right. So let's make it a safe day. But here's where the flood warnings remain in effect in red. There's still a few light showers around, not as heavy. Cleveland, you're about to get out of them heavier downpours. Again, this is not severe. Just moderate downpours. Just be careful. 64, 411 going up this way. Some excessive runoff in spots. It's a little noisy in Fannin County. Fannin County, Blue Ridge to Blairsville right there. A little noisy, but not severe. But Murphy, you've got this coming your way. So in Murphy, of course, in the mountains here, you're going to have, accelerated runoff with the higher elevation. So just be careful. But Murphy, you're going to have during the 9 o'clock hour, get a little noisy with some lightning and some rain, but again, not severe. Just be aware of the flooding in spots. And there's a full view of the entire viewing area at the moment. Now, I appreciate all you joining us tonight, watching our coverage and watching this unfold. We're watching it as you're watching it there. And during our weather radio event at 5:30, it was raining heavily there in Ottawa, but we're starting to get those flash flood warnings. And all I can think of is I got to get back to station. I got to get back so we can do this coverage. We could let you know and talk about flash flooding there live at the event, but not show it to you like we do here. So very thankful I was able to get back and get this coverage shown to you as this event unfolds. And hopefully, we've had no injuries, and hopefully it stays that way. We want everybody as safe as they can. And if you're expecting loved ones back who may be stuck on the interstate, hopefully it'll be soon. But again, as Lindsay Rogers, Public Information Officer, Chattanooga Fire Department, said, that I-24 between Belvoir and Spring Creek is closed indefinitely. No time frame given on when they'll reopen that. But that is at mile marker 184 and 185. Hey, Samantha. Hey, Sam.
Yeah,
Are you putting that on the website, the delay?
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to point people to the website so they know where to go.
If there's nothing that we have.
So again, Hamilton County Schools 2-hour delay on Wednesday morning.
There's nothing we need to recommend.
Let's take a look at a few of the other. I showed you this earlier. South Chickamauga Creek is at almost 13 feet, 12 and a half feet specifically. 16 feet is action stage, 18 feet is flood stage. So staying below that, but it's accepting a lot of runoff. So I anticipate that may get very close to the action stage. So in and around South Chickamauga Creek, be aware that flooding is possible. There's been no warning issued on that, but just be aware of that. One other spot, Wolf Teaver Creek near Ottawa. This one had really moved up quite rapidly. It's right now at 6.5 feet. So that is at action stage. It's approaching flood stage at 7 feet. So that's Wolf Teaver Creek near Ottawa. So that continues to rise, and you can see the big jump there in that 2-hour time frame, where it went from about 2 feet to 6.5 feet. So a 4.5 foot jump. And just to compare that to South Chickamauga Creek, it went from a 5 foot stage this afternoon to 12.5. So a 7.5 foot jump at South Chickamauga Creek. This is South Chickamauga Creek at Ringgold. Took a 2.5 foot jump. It's at about just under 7 feet, but flood stage is 15. So it's holding there. That's good. Let's look at West Chickamauga Creek near Lakeview. It took a jump up to around 6 feet, but still below flood stage. Yeah.
If you want to pass along Chattanooga Preparatory, will also be on a 2-hour delay tomorrow.
Okay. So Chat Prep and Hamilton County. Okay. All right. So you probably heard that. Chattanooga Prep on a 2-hour delay tomorrow. Hamilton County under a 2-hour delay tomorrow as well. So Chattanooga Prep and Hamilton County both have a 2-hour delay. That'll be posted on our website momentarily. So yeah, there's West Chickamauga Creek near Lakeview remains under flood stage, although it continues to rise. But this one's the one we continue to watch. And this was right in that hot zone of where the heaviest rain fell. And that's South Chickamauga Creek. Again, as of 8:15, we'll probably get another update in about 15 minutes. It is below action stage of 16 feet. And it's right now at about 12.5 feet. Flood stage 18, but minor flooding can start occurring at 16 feet if you live in those areas. All right. And things continue to improve quite a bit. I'll take you over to Fannin County, where there's still quite a bit of rain and lightning near Blue Ridge. That'll be moving toward Murphy. in a large part of Cherokee County, but not severe. It's going to be loud, and be aware of some runoff, but not to the extent that we had here in Chattanooga. Eastern McMinn, very wet. East of I-75, west of I-75, McMinn, you're fine. Tunica Plains and area 411 across McMinn down to Polk, you're going to get some moderate downpours, but not too bad. Not compared to what we had. Which, speaking of what we had, there it is. You can see all of our viewing area, every bit of it, and they're right there. That's where the worst of it happened. I plotted the 12-hour rainfall range, but a lot of this fell in about a 3-hour time frame. Again, these purple areas indicate 5 to over 6 inches of rain. Right where you had the worst flooding around the McBrien Road area here. That's an estimate, 6.5. 5.5, just south of the state line, parts of Catoosa County. And like I-75 south, East Brainerd, approaching East Brainerd, about 5 inches there. So there were 2 areas that had the shade of purple there. The other one right here. Valley View subdivision area, approaching the 6-inch mark, south of Silverdale. And the other areas shaded in red, which you see here, these are the ones that are just over 4 to 5 inches. And then orange, about 3 inches there. All right, got an update here that Fort Oglethorpe Fire Department, a viewer says Fort Oglethorpe Fire Department is conducting rescue at Lakeshore Apartments. I believe that's off. Is that the apartments off Lakeshore Drive off Battlefield Parkway? I'm assuming that's where that would be. All those new apartments as you're going east on Battlefield Parkway to where Lakeshore Drive is, Fort Oglethorpe. So some rescues there, if I'm remembering that correctly, where that is. But thank you, Jocelyn, for that update. A lot of you are asking about I-24 for tomorrow morning. That's a big question mark. Again, I-24 is closed indefinitely, and they've given no time frame on that. A lot of it depends on where the water recedes, and it's very slow doing that. So I don't know what the measures are going to take to get that, other than natural measures, get to stop raining, but what it'll take to get that cleared. Checking some other video coming in here. Okay. Jacob asking, where's all the traffic from 24 going to go? That's a good question. They'll be rerouted somehow. I don't know if it's through East Ridge. You can go from Ringgold Road up and over through the tunnels down to Market Street and rejoin the I-24 and 27 there. I have a feeling there'll be a lot of that. Same thing on Brainerd Road through the Brainerd tunnel. So I'm sure there's going to be people using their Waze app trying to figure this out, but it's going to be a lot of traffic. Expect traffic in unusual places tonight. And I'm sure with sunset, we're not going to be able to see much more now. I could take one more look at that McBrien Road area. Yeah. You can no longer really see. This is I-24 at McBrien. So interstate shut down. So this is also in the background there. If you look at the left lane, as we're looking at the picture, that's in an area where it seemed like all the cars kind of came together. I don't know if they hit each other or if it was just where they just came to a stop because of the water. But they've got to clear that along with any other flooding issues still going on. But the water's still there. It's just here at night you can't see it, which in turn brings up another danger why you shouldn't drive at night when there's flooded areas. So we say it often, turn around, don't drown. And that comes to if you're driving through flooding, if you're walking through flooding, on a bicycle through flooding, don't do it. Okay? It only takes 6 inches of moving water to move a car. And we already saw evidence of that tonight. And much less than that to sweep a person off their feet. So don't put yourself in danger. All right, folks, we approach the 9 o'clock hour. Let me put the radar back up here. All the rain's starting to move away. So what we're going to do is I'm going to regroup with everyone here in the newsroom. I want to remind you that we have live coverage coming up on Fox Chattanooga starting at 10 o'clock, about the next hour. And, of course, on News Channel 9 11. Our crews are out there gathering up all the information. We're going to get you caught up on, the streets closed. If there's any update on I-24, and, of course, about the schools, which, again, we know that Chat Prep and Hamilton County are both under a 2-hour delay. I want to show you how to find that out. All right. So there it is. If you go to newschannel9.com, it's going to be under the weather tab. And under weather, you're going to hit closings. When you hit closings, that's where it pops up. So there you have it. The only 2 delays that we know tomorrow are Hamilton County and Chat Prep. They're delayed 2 hours, but that's where you can find the information there. Okay. But again, we'll be passing along that information to you as well. So we're going to stop this live stream for now as things are improving a bit, but still water rescues are ongoing. We'll have full updates. If you're watching on your mobile device, you can still watch it on there. FoxChattanooga.com will be on live 10 to 11 o'clock. And of course at 11 on News Channel 9, also on newschannel9.com, which you can watch on your mobile device. But thanks so much for watching our coverage this evening. Please stay safe. Let's keep it that way. We've been injury free so far. Let's keep it that way. And stay safe and have a great night. And I'll see you again on Fox Chattanooga in less than an hour. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks so much for watching.